Our next speaker is Sam Crignano of Cityzen Development Corporation of Toronto.
To give you some background, the City of Mississauga forms part of the Greater Toronto Area. Toronto proper has a population of approximately 3 million, and the City of Mississauga, 700,000. The total population in the Greater Toronto Area is just over 5 million people. As all great ideas, this one was conceived on a golf course. I happened to be golfing one day with the planning commissioner of the City of Mississauga. And at that time we were at the planning, in the planning stages of the launch of our 4th tower in a 5-tower development at the corner of Highway 10 and Burnhamthorpe in Mississauga. And my discussions with him revolved around the height of the building. And we basically at that time knew that we wanted to build a tall building on that corner. We weren't quite sure what the height would be. And so I asked him what he thought. And he agreed. He thought there should be a tall building on that corner, but he wouldn't commit to how tall. And at that time, I jumped in and suggested perhaps that we embark on an international design competition and let the competition determine how tall this building should be. Well, he loved the idea. He went back that afternoon and consulted with the Mayor of the City of Mississauga, and she bought into the idea immediately. And the idea of an international design competition was born. Now, what we wanted to do is we wanted to tap into that network of architectural firms throughout the world where a lot of these ideas and innovations and creativity are born. But we really didn't know how. We didn't give ourselves a lot of time to do this. And we needed to communicate with these firms across the world in a very timely and expeditious fashion. So we decided to harness the power of the World Wide Web and use that as our communication tool. None of us had ever undertaken an international design competition. And so the first challenge was to find a firm that had that expertise. And there hadn't been a design competition in the city of Toronto, especially for a residential building, for a very long time. So our first challenge was to find that firm. And lucky for us, we were able to find a firm that undertook this process. Now, the site itself is located at the corner of Burnhamthorpe and Highway 10. Basically, it's where Main Street meets Main Street. These are the 4 corners, the gateway. This is a prominent location in the city of Mississauga. Again, it forms part of a 5-building development, of which 3 buildings are currently under construction. And this one building that I'm speaking of, and its sister building, if all goes well, construction will begin later on this year. Now, given the nature of the site and its location, we felt that it deserved something important, something iconic, memorable, and obviously height is what we quickly concluded would achieve that. So what we needed to do is, in terms of the start of the competition, is we needed to, at the very least, outline a set of criteria, parameters, that we would hand off to the architectural community and give them some indication as to what would be permitted in terms of existing zoning on the site, and what we thought would work from the standpoint of the marketplace. Again, this competition basically was conceived in a relative speedy fashion, and we wanted to go through the process in a very quick and timely fashion as well. We didn't give ourselves a lot of time, unfortunately. We decided to phase the competition, and the competition basically consisted of two phases. The first phase was basically an ideas competition, and the ideas competition was open to anyone and everyone across the world. And after having established this set of criteria, we effectively launched the campaign in December of 2005. By January 16th, a month later, 92 entries from across the world have been received. The response in terms of the registration process was unbelievable. We had approximately 600 registrations from across the world. I think continent was represented. Not all these 600 registrations turned into submissions, but nonetheless, that communication tool that we chose, the internet, the World Wide Web, obviously worked well. So we received 92 submissions on January 16th of 2006. And the ideas were diverse, very creative. And to show you a few, you'll have to excuse these images. These were the initial submissions, and the quality of the photograph is poor. They're low res. This is a submission from Ottawa, Canada. Another submission from Canada. A submission from Russia. Another submission from Russia. Israel. The UK. Germany. And Philadelphia. Another one from Russia. This was an interesting design. Macedonia. Well, we received these 92 submissions, but obviously part of the process was adjudication. We assembled a jury made up of 9 members. It was an impartial jury, made up of some very prominent members. Just to name a few: Larry Beasley, who is the planning director of City of Vancouver; Colin Fournier, professor of architecture and urbanism, Bartlett School of Architecture in London; and Ed Sajecki, the planning commissioner of the City of Mississauga. The decision was a difficult one. All the submissions were well put together. A lot of background information was submitted with the submissions. They were very thorough. And it was very difficult to shortlist 5 or 6 from a list of 92. And at a press conference held on January 30th, we announced the shortlist. And our great mayor of the City of Mississauga, Hazel McCallion, was there to make the announcement. And the finalists were from the United Kingdom, designed by Nicholas Boyarsky; from Mexico, Michelle Rajkin; from Canada, Roland Ram Koltev; from Studio MWM, United Kingdom, Sebastian Messer; another one from Canada, Zyler Partnership, Gerald Stein; and of course, the submission from MAD, Yansong Ma. We asked that these 6 finalists go back and give further thought and consideration to their designs, but spend a little more time looking at the practical aspects of their designs, making certain that what they were proposing had a practical solution. And also giving further thought to how we would lay out these spaces and create a building that was marketable. After that process, the architects were invited to basically make a face-to-face presentation. And during this whole process, after the press conference, we decided that we wanted to engage the public to try and ascertain what they were thinking in terms of design in this whole process. And we set up a series of exhibits. One was at City Hall, and another one was at a shopping center, a regional shopping center across the road from us. It's the largest regional center in Ontario, and one of the largest in Canada. And it quickly became apparent to us that the public was very interested in this process. And with the public came television, came radio, the media was engaged. And so a series of articles appeared in various publications, the Toronto Star, the National Post, the Toronto Sun, the Globe and Mail. These are the largest dailies in Toronto. And never before had Toronto seen anything like this, and the public took to it immediately. I mean, this thing basically took on a life of its own. None of us could have predicted this. And this all led up to the unveiling of the winning bid, and this was scheduled for March 28th, 2006. We had started this process December, a few months earlier. And so the winning bid was announced atop the CN Tower. We thought that was appropriate. And of course, the winning bidder was Yansong Ma. And this is the winning design, Absolute World. Now the buildings you see in the background, those are 3 buildings that are currently under construction. As a matter of fact, 2 of them are somewhat complete, and we've begun the occupancy process. And again, the press had a lot of fun with this thing. And, there wasn't a week that went by that a reporter didn't pick up on this and wrote something about it. It was a fun time. Now, this is all fine and good, but at the end of the day, we're in the business of making money. And we embarked on a marketing campaign that effectively commenced midway through this whole process. And the campaign was simply one of registering prospective purchasers. And it didn't take long for that list to grow to 7,000 potential purchasers. It was absolutely amazing. We had never experienced anything like it. The first building was launched in May of 2006. And within a matter of 2 weeks, through a series of events, we had pre-sold the building. Roughly 430 units in size. The problem was, we sold out this building, but not to that list of 7,000. We sold out this building through a series of events to people who we call insiders, friends and family, the brokerage community, the investor community. And so we still had this list of 7,000 people, and we were sitting around one day scratching our heads, wondering what we'd do next. And so we had no choice but to quickly launch a second building, which we had already been thinking of. And so we called Yansong and his team back in and asked them to come up with a complementary building to building number 4. And 2 months later, we launched Tower number 5, the sister building to the Maryland, as she was nicknamed. And as of today, we're 80% pre-sold of building number 5. And so, without further ado, I'd like to introduce Yansong Ma, and he'll take you through the details of the actual design.